another very small topic to deal with. But I wanted to say, commitment. Who
I'll
wants
just
to be...
read the first sentence. And it says, original sin is placing sex outside of love, outside, away, or not part of God.
Yes. That's it. We can all go home now.
Okay. Class is over.
I wanted to say, commitment. Who wants to be committed? Come on. Who wants to live like Cher said many years ago when Phil Donahue asked her, do you believe in marriage as an institution? And she said, sure. But who wants to live in an institution, And who wants commitment? Who wants to be committed? Now, there's a difference here.
Wow.
That slavish commitment of, you made an oath and you have to, that's very different. The true commitment is, I will be my best, try my best to be open-hearted with you, be honest, and be clear and straightforward with you, knowing that I am still screwed up. I'm not complete yet. I'm not fully realized. I am not a Christ yet. I am not fully awake human yet. But I will do my best to be open and honest and try to heal when I can with you as a partner. I don't know what's going to happen because no one knows tomorrow. But my commitment is that I'll be open-hearted with you. Maybe that's a more realistic commitment than putting these rules on us that really no one can live up to, How can you live up to, you can, but if you want to corral love, you take a wild stallion, we go on these horse adventures and visit with wild horses. It's an unbelievably different energy than domesticated horses. It is just night and day. And I always suggest, men feel this a lot, and women are nowadays too, and we come at it from different places, the female and the male polarity. But I always, women sometimes have that thing about, if I trap a man for security, it's a depot program. Many women aren't doing that now, but there's still a bunch that are. Mm-hmm. And the men, have their programmed way of doing it. But you always wonder, well, that stuff you loved about that guy, that the fact that he's on the Harley and he's fun and he's playful and unpredictable and you have awesome sex, why do you want to kill that and put him in a corral like a wild stallion and neuter him? Wake up!
Wow, that's definitely something to ponder. We're going to take a short break. Be right back with Tobias Lars on Truth Brigade Radio. All right, welcome back. You're listening to Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We are talking about sex and love with Tobias Lars, author of Listening to the Sun and creator of Course of Awakening, that you can find at CourseOfAwakening.com. Okay, Tobias, to put it this way, I understand nobody wants to be corralled, so I guess you just let the stallions go? How does this work? Because it goes against everything that we're taught.
Of course, because we've been taught to be kept inside the corral where the sheep and the cattle. Now,
and in the institution, and wow, okay.
So, now this is one of the final things, mixing sex with spirit is the final gateway to going back home. Really mixing sex with real God, with real spirit, is the final thing. So this is where our minds go ape monkey, they just freak out when you start mixing sex and spirituality. I always say it, it's like setting off a neutron bomb, and especially, now we're just talking about it right now. So when you actually practice this with a partner or a friend or, in whatever permutation it wants to do itself in your life, men, women, multiple partners, whatever. And by the way, I'm not promulgating, pushing for any of that. Marriage is a beautiful thing. I'm talking about true divine marriage now. True divine marriage is when you connect with a partner where you feel that heart connection as well as the physical lust connection, and that just sets off all your bells. It will ring your bell, when you do that. And that's a beautiful thing in our natural nesting instinct or wanting if we have kids. That's a whole different situation.
Okay. Yeah, there was a comment on the text chat, just agreeing the system isn't working as it is, but if these stallions have to run the fields, that they've kind of left a lot of young mothers and fatherless children behind.
Right. Now that's unconscious stallions. Okay? That is run amok, damaged in the natural way in the herds of horses. There's a natural way that's done. And so what I'm saying is, and the same for the women, by the way. The women need to have their freedom absolutely, completely, and that's why many women today are opting not to have men in their life. I mean, it was just on TV. It was like CNN or, what's her name, Maria Shriver, Governor Arnold's, wife, was doing a show on CNN or NBC about women now earn 60% of the money in the marketplace. And they had a group of women there, and I just happened to tune in. I have God TV, by the way. God tells me to turn the TV on and watch something, and then I turn it off. So I just listen for that. And so I turned it on, and Maria Shriver was asking the women, do you need men in your lives? And the women were giggling and laughing. One of the women said, I would just like to rent a man once in a while, and it's funny sexual undertones and all that. So this is not men versus women in any way. It has to do with that we're learning a whole new way of having freedom within relationships instead of relationships as collars, as we're pit bull marriages. You take two beautiful pit bull dogs that you love and you throw them in a pit, and eventually they start killing each other. Many marriages have taken beautiful spirits, the man and the woman, and put them in this horrible situation where no one can breathe, and they end up killing each other,
And why do you think that is? Is it just the piece of paper or the image of being institutionalized? Or
it's several things. It's partially religious and moral programming, but that is needed now. Listen, when you have wild stallions or crazy rogue lions, for instance, rogue lions are not good in Africa either, They tend to kill and wreak havoc. You understand what I'm saying here? There's a naturally God-aligned, awake man and woman are not promiscuous. If you mean by promiscuous, they're unconsciously having sex with people and things they shouldn't be. No, they are naturally only moved by the sexual impulse. When you're aligned with your true sex, with true God sex, you don't run around.
Okay, so true love, true sex. I mean, there would have to be that real love there.
Yeah. Otherwise you're doing. And one great way to measure this, by the way, if you're having open relationships, let's say, a few people are starting that more and more now, where we have a relationship, but we're open. If my husband or my wife or my boyfriend or girlfriend, they want to be with someone else, they tell me about it, and we're open to it. It's called polyamory, meaning poly, many loves. And this has been practiced throughout history, by the way. It's been practiced throughout history. Way before the patriarchal religions, the women were in charge. And they had as many partners as they wanted. They were the temple goddesses. So what it's degenerated into is this men versus women battle of the sexes. And that is so dysfunctional and unhealthy that we've been divided and conquered on purpose. The stupid religions come in. I'm talking now about organized, mind control religions. Come in and force and make you feel guilty about your natural impulse of God, sexuality. I mean, it's just ridiculously insane. And then you have government morality imposed on it somehow. And this is but that's needed if you have simply bands of Genghis Khan guys running around raping, the villages. Obviously you need strong law to keep that under control. That's not what I'm talking about. Free love is only assigned to someone once you're awake.
Okay. Oh, and perhaps know yourself and the true meaning of love Well, it's that time again. We're going to take a short break. While we're at it, why don't you go to courseofawakening.com and check out some of Tobias's videos, and we will be right back at the top of the hour. Tobias Lars, Sex and Love on Truth Brigade Radio. Welcome back. You're listening to Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Tobias, we have a real short segment here, so let's just get right to it. What do you think is what's our major problem when it comes to love? Yeah, let's start there. What's our major problem?
We are programmed. We've had now lifetimes and lifetimes. 5 million years ago, we were living in a Garden of Eden on Earth when souls first took on physicality. And we were open, and we didn't have ownership and feel you can only be with me, and there was nothing hidden, and no one had denial, and there was no subconscious and scheming programs and all that kind of stuff going on. Ever since, through a fear, we've had fear of being abandoned, fear of being alone, fear of being disconnected from source. So we've searched manically for something outside of us. We've projected this on each other, betrayal. So we've become very damaged when it comes to relationships. So we've done the stopgap measure, the temporary emergency situation. We've been in a state of emergency on Earth for a long time. And so we've made the best out of it. We've done, this is a relationship. I will only have a relationship with you this lifetime. We've done the marriage thing, tried to do that. That's obviously coming apart now. Hardly anyone ever anymore, 5% of us, do not have long-term forever and ever marriages anymore. That thing has gone away. It's over. We need to open to the new system. That involves a personal healing of all the psychological, pent-up, past, subconscious stuff. Call them sins, call them subconscious tendencies. We need to clean our own temples right now. We're having a massive human detox happening on the planet right now. And so we need to focus on the detox, and the new will automatically come.
Well, what can we do? Say one of us out there is thinking, okay, I'm honest with myself, and I own this. Yeah. What is our next step?
Be open to spirit. I'll tell you my personal life after one of my episodes. Yeah, people do say I have episodes.
But you're loved anyways.
No, I like that. That's good.
Unconditional love is obviously something that a lot of us haven't experienced.
Right.
Which, of course, contributes to the fear, but when we ourselves have to look to ourselves to love ourselves unconditionally, we can't. So how can we expect it from someone else?
You can't. You can I call it like camera shutter love. You know how the old cameras, the camera shutter would open for a little bit, take the picture, and then immediately close up again, right?
Yeah.
And most of us are like that. When you're with someone, especially on the honeymoon period, that when you first meet, you're like, oh, my God, I feel so open and safe with you. It's so beautiful, and I love it. And you're a little more open then. But even afterwards, you kind of open your camera shutter, and then you get scared and you close right up again, That's where we're at right now. Because being wide open with your heart right now is pretty scary when you've got basically our media and our systems basically raping the heart. We make fun of open hearts all the time. We call them naive and stupid and, oh, yeah, he still thinks love is going to rule the world. He hasn't realized that money and jack boots is what rule the world, So, anyway.
Well, yeah, let's pick this back up on the other side. We'll be back for a much longer segment. Tobias Lars, author of Listening to the Sun, soulcounseling.com or courseofawakening.com is the website. Be right back. Truth Brigade Radio. You're listening to Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you want to get some lovin' in the text chat, we're over at truthbrigade.com. And any questions or comments, feel free to give us a call, 512-879-5885. 3805. We're talking about sex and love with Tobias Lars, creator of CourseOfAwakening.com. Okay, so Tobias, getting back to what